Hello and welcome to my first ever voiceover video. Today's video is about the yearly art trading game, Artfight. For those that aren't familiar with Artfight, it is an annual art trading / gifting game that normally has 2 opposing teams. This year was special as it was the 10-year anniversary, so they gave us 3 teams to pick from. I myself was on Team Comedy, and not to toot my own horn, but I've been on the winning team now every year since I started. The entire month of July is dedicated to attacking users on opposing teams for points. You can also attack your own team members with friendly fire, and have revenge chains with other users on the site. This was my 3rd year of Artfight, and it's definitely been my personal best. I finally broke free from the 6 attacks a year curse, coming in at 12 attacks overall. I thought it would be fun today to go over each attack I did for this year, discuss my process, and share my works as well as all the wonderful attacks that I received. The first attack this year was for user Gregory Grimaldus of her character Gretle. My method for finding victims is usually the random character button, which is how I found this cute Pokemon OC. I am a big fan of purple, if you couldn't tell already, so Gretle's design palette was right up my alley. I had her reference saved and held my breath until that timer officially hit, thus beginning the Artfight season. This was the first attack I did without any pose reference, which is rare for me nowadays, but I think it came out pretty well all things considered. Looking over her description, her relationship with her partner Pokemon, Flit, made a pretty clear idea in my mind for how I wanted to set this piece up. I went into this year knowing I really wanted to beat my attack record from the previous 2 years, so I started it with a simple half body to avoid that early season burnout. Gretle originally wanted to be a Pokemon Ranger, but the organization she was going to wanted her to change her partner Pokemon, her Drifloon, Flit, seeing as children are scared of Drifloons. Rather than abandon her partner Pokemon, Gretle moved on from her dreams of being a ranger and landed a job at a party supply store. She hopes to become a sanitologist, which is something I'd never heard of before. A sanitologist is someone who studies death, dying, and the effects of grief. I love this concept, seeing as Drifloon is her buddy and often linked to death. You know, with the whole snatching children thing. I really enjoyed drawing Gretle, and I was so happy that Gregory liked it. This year's second attack was of a superhero character. Now, unfortunately, I did not bank on the superhero aspect of her, but I still really enjoyed drawing her in my own way. This is Dany, a reincarnation of Lilac Lily Rose's other OC, Adeline. Adeline is a witch who is wiped out alongside her coven by a demon named Azazel, forgive me. In her dying moments, she casts a spell to ensure she can get revenge for her and her coven by killing Azazel. Azazel? This results in her being reincarnated as Danielle, or as we know her, Dany. Unlike a normal reincarnation story, Dany and Adeline are separate people, with Adeline acting more like a spiritual guide to Dany that forms into a sisterly bond, sometimes even motherly. With the use of Adeline's mana from her witch abilities, Dany is able to use her own magic, which leads to her becoming a hero. She thinks this will save her from her poor home life, but she still struggles to keep her and her father afloat after the loss of her mother. Unfortunately, she loses her father as well. Eventually stepping back from her hero work, she begins to collect magical objects and defeat magical threats. Dany is never able to kill Azazel, only trap him, meaning she is also fated to one day be reborn in the same sense as Adeline. Dany was another character I found through Random Character. I loved her style and confidence in the art on her profile, so I decided to draw her in this sorta early 2000s confident magazine pose. I love her color palette, and her few outfits were super inspiring to find a style that I thought she would also like. I did have a bit of trouble with the perspective, and I still don't feel like it came out quite right, but Lily Lilac Roses seems to have liked it, and that's all that matters. My third attack of this year was on user Pezzy of their OC, Rowan. Rowan is an angel who is a highly skilled medic. In his universe, everyone is assigned a card suit, his being the club. I normally do not draw male characters. It is not something I'm super great at, and in my past years of Artfight, I've been kind of trying to make myself draw things that I'm not normally good at, to get practice in. But this year I told myself I'd sort of stick to things I really want to draw rather than forcing myself to meet a quota. But when I randomized to Rowan's design, I honestly felt pretty inspired, so I decided to take a shot at drawing another male. This was a tricky piece for me. I wanted something simple, again, to not burn myself out, so I thought I'd use a pose that wouldn't require too much detail, but man, I indeed misjudged this because his wings, oh my gosh, his wings were such a pain. I thought I knew exactly how they'd need to look, but as I started cleaning up the sketch, I realized they just looked incorrectly bent. And the face. I am awful at side angles, so I really don't even know why it chose this reference and pose. I was kinda in over my head. But overall, once I settled on the wings and the head, I think the shading came out really well, and when all was said and done, I really enjoyed drawing this piece. Attack number 4's victim was actually found through the Recent Attacks tab. Something user Virus drew caught my eye, so I decided to look around their account and landed on their OC, Tanya. She's so pretty, and I love OCs with bright hair accents, so I knew I wanted to draw her. Looking into her description, I saw that she was also in a band going by the name Fallen, so I of course had to draw another member of said band. I was tempted to draw everyone included, but again, I was not wanting to burn myself out, so I settled on another bandmate named Naomi. Tanya is the singer of the band, and Naomi is the drummer. Not much info was given about their relationship, but I thought they would at least be chill enough to take a little band photo together, like those ones you see on red carpets and stuff. I used a reference image for this pose, but I still felt as though Naomi's proportions were kinda off. I was also really sad looking back on the speed paint on how much Naomi's face changed. Her sketch was really good in my opinion, but in the final piece, I feel like her eyes are a little too close together and her expression just doesn't read well overall. But I do love the both of them together. I love their color palettes, and I feel as though their hands came out pretty good. I also had fun drawing so many piercings. I've never done that before. Honestly, it was some good practice for drawing characters together, which I really don't draw many character interactions. I should really work on that in the future. But I am glad to announce that Virus seems to have really liked the piece. After finding Virus through the Recent Attacks tab, I decided to scope it out some more, coming across a cute piece done by user Pasm. Pasm's artwork is so cute, and I love his character designs. He has two really pretty OCs in particular, Valerie and Adeline. As a Supernatural fan myself, I was really tempted to draw his Supernatural OC Valerie, but I knew if I were going to do that, then I would also want to draw her with Sam. But unfortunately, I was all manned out after the Rowan attack, so I settled on Adeline. Adeline has such a cute design. I love her freckles and blemishes and just her look overall. Everything about her makes her feel pretty real. I had a bit of a tricky time deciding on an outfit for her. She's got a few different styles on her toy house. Originally, I planned a sorta Hollister summer look for her based on her chibis, but then the more I looked, the more she gave vintage cherry summer. So that's what I settled on. My reference pose was wearing a dress, so the legs took me a little while to figure out, along with the perspective of the shoes. But I really did love working on this piece, and I hope it shows. She is such a cute character. Maybe next year I'll come back for Valerie and have enough man experience to add in Sam. And back to random character selector. Number 6 is Naomi Joy, owned by user Maddie Mango. After my Gretle attack, I remembered how fun it is to draw Pokemon characters. So when I landed on Naomi, I really wanted to draw her in a tropical setting for the summer with some of her Pokemon friends. Now, when I read back her description, I realized I was having a bit of a dyslexia moment, and it turns out Sandile is not actually one of Naomi's Pokemon, but instead one of her teammates' Pokemon. Whoops. There he is! I honestly couldn't bring myself to get rid of him. He really is just so cute, and I think he just belongs there. You know, who knows? Maybe Naomi's babysitting him for someone else. The pose was giving me some trouble, so I strayed from the reference, and I think it actually turned out pretty well. Her torso is a bit wonky, but overall this was a fun piece, and I loved working with her design. Naomi Joy, as the name implies, is a Pokemon character who was to become a Nurse Joy just like her mother, but ultimately she ended up flunking, deciding instead to begin a journey of self-discovery. I love characters like these so much. It's honestly so real thinking you'll do one thing with your life, but ultimately deciding to take time for yourself in the end. Our next attack is one for a user I found through one of our previous victims. Their character, Shitoli, really stood out to me. I am a true lover of any cat girl designs I find on the site. While looking over her description, I read her connection to Renashi's other OC, Lucia. I love their dynamic. Dopey, loving OCs with a slightly annoyed partner are my favorites. Watching the ice melt is a beloved pastime. I wanted to do a silly, quick piece, sort of reminiscent of the early 2000s anime where a character is fawning over / fantasizing about someone that they adore. I fear that the effect didn't quite come off that well, but it was still fun to draw regardless. A little bit about the characters. Lucia is an elven priestess, with a duty to her religious clan. Her duties to the clan often result in her neglecting her own feelings and ultimately shoving any that she has for Holly down. Holly is a happy-go-lucky warrior, another with a duty to her own clan. A deep sense of justice and a need to help those around her make her headstrong. She guards Lucia, harboring a crush on the priest, but unable to act on it due to her arranged marriage and Lucia's religious obligations. We hate to see doomed Yuri. I wish for them to just be able to run off, so as Lucia says, she can spoil Holly. I love them so much. Renashi has so many pretty OCs and interesting stories. I may just have to revisit their account next year. Next up was my first mass attack. Initially finding user Finley the Human, I believe through the Artfight target hunting channel on Discord, I came across their OC, Ringo. I love a good themed OC, and Ringo's apple design was so adorable. While looking for pose references, I thought, man, I should find more apple-themed OCs. And that I did. One I found through a user I attacked back in 2024. They had attacked user BugLover007's character, Vivian, another cute apple-themed OC. And the final character I decided to attack was one I found through the tag searches, character Pip, owned by Vidaz. This one was quite a bit of fun for me. I didn't go too crazy on the shading with how much was already going on, but I think this piece came out fairly well, and I'm pleased to say that everybody liked it. After my mass attack, I definitely needed a little breather, so I found user Max Morality through our last victim, Vidaz. Max Morality's character, Nori, is super cute, and I loved her colors. Sushi, cats, it's an easy answer. A little bit about Nori from Max Morality's description. Nori is a part of the cat food world. When you're bored and want comfort, you eat food or you pet a cat. And the creator of this world thought the best way to bring the most comfort to people was through food cats. Nori is the sushi cat of this world. She's quite anxious due to being the first cat and feeling a responsibility towards the rest, but holds it inside herself, appearing to others calm and reserved. She's confused on why people would eat fish. They're just too cute in her opinion. I did have fun getting back to my roots with just a basic headshot, but honestly, when I went to look back at this piece, I was kind of questioning why I made her so humanoid. I'm not really sure if it was because of the reference sheets or if I was taking too much inspiration from other attacks I had seen of her. But she definitely came out looking more like a humanoid with cat features rather than just a cat creature. Next up is my first revenge and friendly fire of the year. I attacked user Akurogen's OC Shiraagana Yuki. They attacked my Sona! This was my first attack on her, and they drew her with a GDM. I was so overjoyed, so I of course had to get my revenge. I am a big fan of Japanese-inspired characters. Ones with major Shinto imagery have a soft spot in my heart, and seeing as that is their only posted character, it was perfect. Yuki is a homebrewed D&D character, which again stuck with me because I too have a homebrewed D&D character with Shinto imagery and lore. She's described as being silly and loving to fight with her scythe. It was so fun to draw. I wanted to give her a somewhat fluid pose, but I strayed from my reference, so I hope it still reads well. Almost at this year's end, we have Hayabasa, owned by, I'm going to call them Risotto. I grew up watching Naruto, and honestly, I've never rewatched it, but seeing the amount of Naruto OCs on Artfight this year, I am so tempted to give it another watch. Drawing Hayabasa made me miss the series so much. She is such a pretty character, and I fear I did not do her the justice that she deserves. I really wanted to incorporate her fans, but I was having a really hard time finding references that I liked. The first one I used, I did like the pose, but felt like I just couldn't manage to draw the piece on my own without heavily tracing the image, so I ultimately scrapped it and moved on to a different pose. Normally, I don't have an issue with tracing. If you'll see in some of the previous attacks, I did heavily reference my poses, but I usually will only do that with complex layouts or ones that I'm having a bit of difficulty with. But as long as I can visualize the anatomy on my own, I feel like it's fine. But with this one, I just couldn't. In the end, I feel like I could have done a lot better, but I did not want to keep restarting this piece. I had to keep stepping back to take a good look at the face angle, and I tried to adjust it as I went on, which caused me to combine all of the layers, which made things a lot trickier. But I am happy that I got it done, and maybe I'll give Hayabasa another go next year. And finally, that brings us to the last attack of this year, which was on user Sierra, is what we're gonna go with. Of her OC, Scarlet Everson. I love characters with long pigtails. I'm not so sure how Sierra feels about character similarities, but something about Scarlet's design / palette somewhat reminded me of Asuka from Neon Genesis, who is a definite comfort character for me, so I could not resist giving this character an attack. Here is a little bit about the character. Scarlet works for an underground organization that goes by the name Centipede. She ran away at age 15 due to her home life, which is how she found herself with the rebellious organization. She has a weapon that is blood bonded to her, meaning she can summon it whenever she wants. Scarlet seems like a stubborn character to me. She just looks so done with everyone in every single drawing of her, and it really cracked me up. This pose gave me quite a bit of trouble, but I was really set on doing it. Especially after my last attack where I just kind of gave up on trying to do the first pose. I was determined to figure this one out. You can see me kind of cheat by covering up my biggest problem areas with her hair. I really felt like giving up or changing her outfit because I could not figure out how to draw her sleeves, but I am really glad that I just pushed through it and figured out how to make the fabric lay in a way that didn't look too out of place. Looking back on it now, I am still annoyed with this piece. I feel like I made her neck a little too long, but you win some, you lose some. And until next year, maybe I'll come back and give Scarlet another shot. With that, the 2026 Artfight season comes to an end. The results have yet to be announced, coming out on Sunday the 16th as of today, which is in a few days. I will probably make a post about it, but I really haven't announced when my team wins because, you know, there's no reward to participating in Artfight other than just the joy it brings you and other users on the site, which is honestly my favorite thing about it. I remember being a younger artist on the internet and partaking in art trades and requests from other people online and just having fun drawing other people's characters. It's always a true honor for someone to entrust their character to you, especially when you're younger and you get art of your characters. It just brings so much joy, and I think the art community really needs that nowadays. Since the rise of social media such as TikTok, I've seen so much discourse. Even in these last few days since Artfight has ended, I have seen a few videos come out complaining about dramas this year that I myself did not experience. Maybe it's because I didn't do as many attacks, maybe it's because my account didn't get as much attention, but I thought this was a pretty good year. I'm happy to see Artfight grow every single year. I think we had the most traffic, seeing as the first 3 days the site was constantly crashing. People were being reminded, save your reference sheets, prep, have stuff ready for offline. And it was pretty bad. There were queues and wait times, but like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this was my personal best, and I am really pleased with my experience for this season. For the last section of this video, I wanted to quickly go over the attacks that I received. I received a revenge from Lilac Lily Roses of my character, Calypso, as well as a revenge from Pausum of my character Molly, the aforementioned attack from Akurojin of my Sona, a sketch of my character Kosai from Bug Lover 007, an attack of my favorite character Kisame from Sora Sketchies, and I was included in a few mass attacks as well. A mass attack of vampire characters from user Snail Trails. I was really happy with this. This is the first piece of artwork I've received of my character Svetlana. Next was a awesome piece by Moo Shmoo of an underwater train, which had my character Adeline in it. I am super grateful for all the art that I received this year and all the kind compliments and comments on the site and just getting to interact with more users. I'm honestly so sad that the season is already over and I cannot wait for next year. I don't even know the teams yet, but whoever's on the opposing team, watch out. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. As stated at the beginning of the video, this is my first time doing a voiceover, and if you cannot tell, I don't actually have a microphone. I used headphones and just my phone and my computer, so thank you for bearing with me. I may look into getting an actual microphone to do future videos. I'm hoping to do some voiceovers of character designs in the future because I have a lot of characters who are well overdue for proper reference sheets. But with that said, I will see you all in the next video.